Now that it is June, some of my more staple and long-lasting crops are ready to be harvested. So that is exactly what I'm going to show you today, as I'm going to harvest my onions and my first early potatoes. Let's go. Alright, let's start with the onions first. These are grown from sets. Now, if you don't know what that means, set onions or plant onions are basically onions that have had their growth cycle aborted, and they sort of end up in a hibernation state so that they can be replanted the next season. Now, this skips the first part of growing onions should you grow them from seed, which apparently tends to be a little bit more tedious. So I bought these from the shop for only a few euros, and I wanted to make sure that I got at least one harvest of onions, as I'm also growing onions from seed, and I wasn't really sure if that was going to work out. Spoiler, it is working out. Now, the way that you can tell that your onions are ready to harvest is when the outer layer of the bulb is starting to brown and the majority of the foliage is starting to flop over, as you can see right over here. So say about 2/3 or more. Alright, so I'm going to dig these up, or well, there's not a lot of digging to do as they're basically on top of the surface, and therefore it's also not going to be a very big surprise how many onions I'm going to harvest, but I'm guessing around 40, maybe even 50. So apparently I completely forgot how many sets I bought, because I counted the onions and I came to a grand total of 91. And my entire basket is full. Now, most of them are medium-sized, so I'd say around golf ball size, and some of them didn't really grow at all, such as this one over here, which is still about the same size as I planted it, but still usable in the kitchen. Yeah, not too bad. Now, onions and potatoes need some time to cure before you can store them for longer. And curing basically means letting them dry out a little bit more in a warm and well-ventilated place so that the outside becomes a little bit harder, and that just helps with preserving them. Now, I still have quite some space on my arch trellis, so I'm going to see if I can get all 91 onions to hang from there so that they can cure properly. It's a little bit ironic because the moment I hang these out to dry, it's starting to rain. That was not in the forecast. All right, let's continue with the first early potatoes now. This is the Frieslander kind, and the plants have been dying off quite quickly in the last 2 weeks. At some point, the earth was actually pushed upwards, or the soil was pushed upwards, and I didn't really know what was going on, but of course it were the potatoes that were pushing the ground up. And some of them actually pushed all the way up to the surface, so they become green or even brown, and they won't be usable for the kitchen, unfortunately, but hopefully the rest underneath the surface will be. Now, this is actually going to be quite a surprise of how much harvest I'm going to get, and digging up potatoes always feels kind of like you're opening up a treasure chest, and you never really know what you're gonna get. All right, let's start digging out these potatoes. So far, I dug out 2 plants out of the 6 in this grow bed. There are 6 more over there, and these are truly beautiful golden potatoes. A few of them are no longer usable. For example, these over here, they were on the surface, so they got a lot of sunlight. But again, already I'm super happy with the harvest that I got out of 2 plants. So let's continue. This is a nice one. Oh man, can't wait to bake these in some butter with salt and pepper. Beautiful. Man, I'm so happy. Again, like I said last year, I feel like a kid in a candy store when digging out potatoes. It's such a treat, like digging up golden treasure. Look at this. This is beautiful. Wow, look at these golden nuggets. This is just from one grow bed, and I think we are getting close to 8 kilograms. So with another grow bed to go, hopefully I'm getting around 15, maybe 16 kilograms out of this beautiful harvest. And I'm so happy with this. All right, let's continue. Well, that was positively awesome. I think this basket weighs around 15 kilograms right now, so I'm gonna put it down for a bit because it's quite heavy. Much like the onions, the potatoes are going to need some time to cure, to harden off, which makes them better for storage. That is going to take about 2 to 4 days in a warm and well ventilated place. You can put them in a box, for example, with a towel on top, and that just minimizes any sunlight and prevents them from turning green. I think this is one of the many joys of being a gardener. Just to be able to dig out that very first big harvest of the year and to grow your own healthy food that has not been tampered with or sprayed with chemicals, and to be able to provide for yourself and for your family and for your loved ones. So thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.